Welcome to study session 15, the education for all by year 2000. Introduction. In this study session, we will explain the status of education by identifying the needs to realize objectives of education for all by the year 2000. We will also proceed to examine the problems and prospects of the education for all. In the end, we will highlight the 10 modalities towards achieving the said framework of action at a targeted population. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to explain 4 out of the 10 modalities of achieving the said framework of action towards the targeted population. The goals of EFA. It does not matter if we are not familiar with the education for all before, but it does matter if we, after now, are still not well informed about the said education for all and its goals. With the resolution passed at the World Conference on Education for All, there has been a renewed interest in giving access to education to all. It is particularly noted that little progress can be achieved until the people are empowered by education to join in the development process. With this conviction, there is a renewed vigor to visualize the decision to wipe out illiteracy by the year 2000. The present effort, which has to be improved upon in the African region, can be listed thus. In many countries in the region, literacy programs are becoming more and more integrated within national development policies. There are development projects, technical and professional training, as well as administrative reforms. As in Tiger, the setting up of a new society, for example, the Ujamaa in Tanzania, the fishing program in Mali, the training of skilled labor force as in Angola, teaching literacy by the armed forces as in Guinea-Bissau and Ethiopia, introducing work-oriented functional literacy as in Guinea, Mali and Sierra Leone, the use of Kiswahili in Tanzania, 15 national languages in Ethiopia, EU in Ghana. In addition, a reintroduction of mass literacy campaign approaches in Guinea, Benin, Somalia, Ethiopia, Mali, Tanzania, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Kenya are cases in point. The majority of the selective intensive approach to solve their literacy problem because of lack of human, material, and financial resources. Targeted population and framework of actions. Attention will be focused on the age 15 years old plus and those who stop and drop out of the formal school system. For example, in Nigeria, the planned efforts will be targeted at making 56 million Nigerian adults literate between 1990 and the year 2000. The national plan is to annually make literate a certain proportion of the target figure. The step-by-step plan could be summarized as follows. 1990, the launching of the International Literacy Year. It will involve the establishment of agencies and training of adult personnel. 91 to 93, the mass literacy training would commence. This would continue till 1993, when about 8 million adult learners would have been trained. 94 to 97, the mass literacy would now move to identifiable disadvantaged groups with improved educational infrastructure. This will continue to 1997. 98 to 2000. The period between 98 and the year 2000 would involve the supply of teachers, evaluation, establishment of permanent institutions for literacy and post-literacy program, organization of seminar, conferences, and research on crucial issues pertaining to the achievement of the program. The year 2000 would then have marked the end of illiteracy in Nigeria. Modalities in achieving the said framework. To achieve the above plan, certain activities are to be set in motion. This include creation of supportive policy environment for promoting basic education. Maximum use of opportunities should be considered to expand existing collaborations and to bring together new partners. For example, family and community organizations, non-governmental and other voluntary associations, teachers' unions, other professional groups, employers, the media, political parties, cooperatives, universities, research institutions, religious bodies, as well as education authorities and other government departments and services. 2. The human and organizations' resources, including domestic partners representing it, to be effectively mobilized to play their part in implementing the plan of action. Partnerships at the community level and at the intermediate and national levels should be encouraged. They can help harmonize activities, utilize resources among people more effectively, and mobilize additional financial and human resources where necessary. 3. Governments and their partners can analyze the current allocation of and use of financial and other resources for education and training in different sectors to determine if additional support for basic education can be obtained by improving efficiency. Governments and their partners can analyze the current allocation and use of financial and other resources for education and training in different sectors to determine if additional support for basic education can be obtained by improving efficiency, mobilizing additional sources of funding within and outside the government budget, allocating funds within existing education and training budgets, taking into account efficiency and equity concerns, assessing the resources actually or potentially available for basic education and comparing them to the budget estimates underlying the plan of action can help identify possible inadequacies of resources that may affect the scheduling of planned activities over time or may require choices to be made. The individual learners themselves constitute a vital human resource that needs to be mobilized. The demand for and participation in learning opportunities cannot simply be assumed, but must be actively encouraged. Potential learners need to see that the benefits of basic education activities exceed the costs the participants must bear, such as earnings forgone and the reduced time available for community and household activities and for leisure. Women and girls especially may be deterred from taking full advantage of basic education opportunities because of reasons specific to individual cultures. Some barriers to participation may be overcome through the use of incentives and by programs adapted to the local context and seen by the learners, their families, and communities to be productive activities. Also, learners tend to benefit more from education when they are partners in the instructional process rather than treated simply as inputs or beneficiaries. Family resources, including time and mutual support, are vital for the success of basic education activities. Families can be offered incentives and assistance to ensure that their resources are invested to enable all family members to benefit as fully and equitably as possible from literacy opportunities. The preeminent role of teachers as well as of other education personnel in providing quality basic literacy needs to be recognized and developed to optimize their contribution. This must entail measure to respect teachers' trade union rights and professional freedoms and to improve their working condition. In partnerships with school and community workers, libraries need to become a vital link to providing educational resources for all learners. Community, associations, cooperatives, religious bodies, and other non-governmental organizations also play important roles in supporting and in providing basic education. Their experience expertise, energy, and direct relationships with various constituencies are valuable resources for identifying and meeting basic learning needs. Their active involvement in partnerships for literacy efforts should be promoted through policies and mechanisms that strengthen their capacities and their autonomy. With the above in mind, and followed by effective implementation, the assertion of the 1990 Thailand Conference, which is Education for All in the year 2000. With the above in mind, and followed by effective implementation, the assertion of the 1990 Thailand Conference, which is Education for All in the year 2000, would hopefully be a reality in African regions as well as in other parts of the world. A colleague has recently described the current initiatives in the eradication of illiteracy in Africa as perhaps the last card in the game of literacy campaigns on the continent. It is therefore an opportunity that should not be missed by all organizations, governmental, non-governmental, and organizations involved in the task of combating literacy in Africa. The adoption of 1990 by the United Nations as the International Literacy Year, ILY, should be seen as an additional incentive to all literacy enthusiasts in the continent dominated by hordes of illiterates. For the year offered an opportunity for all nations to address the issue of illiteracy. In this way, chance to all UN member countries. The hope is that the North will offer some material assistance through the UNESCO and other illiteracy organizations, while the South will maximally use the considerable expertise and its innovative approaches based on good field experience. It is our view that the issue during the next decade of prosecuting literacy a subject already vigorously defended. Nor will the problem of the literacy effort come from the failure to attract adequate resources. Rather, it is suggested here that the crucial issue will be at the implementing stage.